Hey, Jacksonville now. Sorry, though.
Nature, I ain't gonna lie to you. Your boy make me a little nervous. Okay, we gotta get to the podcast.
So, Be Like Podcast mission statement. Number one, mentorship and mindset development. Career ascension, education, leadership, cultivation. Our DNA is we authentic, positive, respect all sex, race, religion, and political views and preference because we for all people. And we like to have a great sense of humor. We're funny and we like to have fun and bring in great, amazing people that can be able to change your lives, help you unlock your lights. It's football Sunday today. We got people with lights on their chest. We got teams on the chest. We represent. We got it's October coming soon. You know what I'm saying? Colder months coming. We talked about that before. But today is gonna be a special episode for y'all because we're gonna break down some of the concepts intellectually and spiritually that we have compiled together as a team that we believe can help you guys unlock that inner light within. So y'all got a special episode coming soon. But welcome back to the Be a Light podcast. It's your boy K.Sloan here with the homies.
J.Jones.
JG.
DeMarcus having a stroke.
DeMarcus is having a stroke. That's MrliftN'Go if you don't know. That's how he get down. And we got the brain with us too.
It's your boy Nate G repping Philly today though, baby.
Repping Philly today. How my Bears do? My Bears win?
Yeah. Your Bears survived.
Yeah.
Who we play though?
My hometown Houston Texans. And that was one of the most we don't want it football games I've ever seen. No, don't clap.
I'll take a Houston win. I'll take a win against H-Town. I'll take it.
Houston took the L. Y'all did not take a dub. There's no winner in that game.
I'll take it. Bear down, baby.
Talk about bad
Bear down, baby. I'll take it.
Bear down. Move the Bears down to the NCAA level of football. Move them to Canada.
The disrespect. That's kind of crazy. What about the Cowboys? What they doing?
They play tomorrow.
Waiting to disappoint the world on a Monday night.
We play with
Start my week off right.
Is that why DeMarcus moved his head like that?
No, I see all the little highlights today. Patrick Mahomes and Eric the Enemy got into it.
That's good.
They lost to the Colts.
Man, it's so beautiful though.
The Dolphins beat the Bills.
Yeah, that's crazy. But the Dolphins on the way up though, bro. Tyreek Hill got no chill. And you know, 2 of them.
50 yards today at max.
The
Dolphins are on the way up though.
Man.
Jets are fighting their coaches.
Shout out to the Buffalo Bills for blowing up my parlay today. I had 8 out of 10 legs correct. And then the Bills decided they were going to fall through.
You know they weren't really that. You know the Bills ain't really that. They look good, but I mean they are the Bills.
A good chance of winning today.
They still the Bills, right?
We'll see. They kind of see.
They still the Bills, right?
They the Bills, but
yeah.
Bills Mafia right now. They the Mafia right now.
They the Mafia, right? But I mean, you know, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. Help these people unlock their lights. You know, we're gonna kind of cover some different topics. So I guess we can start out, you know, when we brainstormed this text that we're creating, man, we came up with a lot of different laws. Our wisest member of the podcast seemed to take off with those ideas, and he had some good thoughts. Shout out to him. And we kind of expanded on some of these thoughts, and we want to kind of cover some of these with you guys today because I think some of these topics and these ideas are things that we're not getting a lot of in today's day and age. Like, you know, old school like adages and like principles. You don't see that being explained in depth when it comes to real life application and situations. So we're gonna bring in a young whippersnapper too, and we're gonna let him kind of expand as well with us, young Khalil. So I'm gonna bring him in. I'll let him introduce himself again to the people. So let's see if he's ready to get on this bad boy. Khalil.
You gotta say it again.
Young Khalil.
What's good with it, man?
What's good with it? What's good with it? We about to get into these laws of light, man. We about to get into these laws of light.
That's cool. So you want me to start?
Introduce yourself, though. Introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Khalil, y'all. What's up with it?
Yeah.
So, laws of light for me, one of them is.
Hold on, Khalil, hold on. I got you. Don't even
Khalil
trip.
come in
Don't
like
trip,
he ready to
Khalil.
work. So
Khalil ready to get
Uh,
right into it. He like, hey, I got the laws if y'all need the laws. Hold on, we're gonna get into it.
Khalil said, if I'm in the hole, let's call a play. Let's go.
He like, hey,
All right.
Blue 42. Hold on.
All right, I got you.
The law of influence, right? So we're gonna cover the law of influence first. And when we talk about the law of influence, we want to talk about, how I guess the impact. When I think of the law of influence, I think of the impact that we have as people on others. I mean, this human experience, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, everything we do plays a role of some sort in how other people receive us and how our life is created. Like if I go out into the world and display myself in a certain way, it's going to impact somebody else to react to that representation of who I am, right? They're gonna react. Like I feel like people with strong influences tend to understand that a little bit better than people with weak influences, and a lot of it has to do with the consistency and the message that you put out. So what you represent, who you are, the more consistent you are, the more powerful that representation is, the more influential you become. And a lot of times I don't think it's on purpose. Like from my personal experience, I believe like throughout my life, I've been influential in a lot of different situations, and it wasn't because I was trying to be. I think it was just like, just the influence was just from me being myself. Being yourself tends to create that within others, that want to be themselves, or maybe even that want to follow you into the way of becoming themselves. Y'all dig what I'm saying? And I know DeMarcus, you had put that up for us, so I know. Okay, so go ahead and give us the definition, Mr. MrliftN'Go. Give us the definition.
I just looked up real quick just to show you that we all in line. Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or group.
So what y'all thinking on that, man? What y'all thinking on that? Y'all can take that.
It's a lot of ways you can take that, man. Is who do you want to be influenced by? Who do you allow yourself to be influenced by? What kind of influence do you want to be? I'm gonna start on the other side of it, of who are you influenced by? Because I think that's really what sets the groundwork for anything that you're gonna do moving forward, right? So I know we were talking about it from like the people who follow Trump and the whole Brett Favre thing. That's where we kind of got on that. But I would say first and foremost, for just everyday people, it's looking at the people who are actually in your life and taking whatever influences from them that you can, whether good or bad, right? Or at least seeing the bad and being able to acknowledge those and not take those up, I should say. So you see, we talk about like raising your kids, all of those things, the community that's around your kids, especially when you're young. As you grow and you learn, okay, I can do this because I saw this person do that. That's wonderful. That's how you actually get influenced to do certain things. You're influenced to try different stuff. We as the adults, we as, parents, whatever it is, have to look at it and say, what influences do I put out there? But that's a part of growing up in life. So as you hit young adulthood, as you hit adulthood, you have to consciously be aware of where do you take your influences from? Ask yourself, like literally, why do you do some of the things that you do? Where did you learn that from? Why do you like some of the things that you like? Who influenced that kind of thing for you, right? So, it's really simple to say, but I don't think enough time we take actual focus on that. We don't really step back and reevaluate where we got things from. So,
and the average person directly influences at least 3 people. If I'm remembering this right, you have your working class, your private class, and your social class. So even if you're in high school, that would be that probably would coexist with your classroom and your friends. But think about your co-workers, boss, or employees. They all have an influence on each other. Then your private class can be family, relationships, religion, things of that sort. And then your social class is probably everybody outside of that, whether it be we got social media now, so whether it be on the internet, whether it be out and about, you have influence, direct influence on at least those three groups. So at least three people. So don't ever think that you're too big or too little to where you don't have an influence on somebody. You influence somebody. There's nobody that's private. You influence somebody.
Yeah, like I'm finna say, Mr. Sloan back in high school, I don't know, I just seen him in the hallway one day and he was a like just like me. So like we just started building like this relationship, and as I went on, like he was just being himself, and me, I was kind of just lost in the moment. So I just seen him being himself, and he was being like a true light. You could just feel his energy. Like every day, he still had that same Mr. Sloan energy. He wouldn't change. So that kind of influenced me to be myself and become who I am today. And so I seen what he was doing, and that's how I came about the podcast. I forgot how the conversation came about. I think we was walking the hallway and the teacher mentioned it. So I was like, let me get on this podcast and see what these people talking about. And it was just more like an influence on me. Like, okay, these people doing the right thing, or what I think is the right thing. Because, some people might not think what y'all doing the right thing. Everybody got their own opinion. But anyway, I seen y'all doing the right thing. So I'm like, okay, now I can take what they're doing and then see the people who I think are not doing the right thing and take something from them. Like, okay, why don't I want to do this? Like Nate said, why do I not want to do this? Or why does this not influence me to do the right thing? So that kind of just helped me pick the right influencers, because sometimes you can be influenced by things that aren't, like we was talking about the last podcast, like the music people listen to. The music can influence you to do different stuff or want to try some crazy stuff, but you got to kind of pick the right influencer or what you influenced by. That kind of what helped me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like y'all all saying, influence, I mean, you can kind of be influenced one way or the other. It's always like good or evil, like we all talking about. So like my thing is, I think God's ultimate goal for all of us is to influence people in the right way, to influence people towards God. So my thing is, I always try to, like Kerry said, when I leave the house, I don't know who's watching me. So I try to stay doing my best to be passionate with somebody, because you never know who's watching. Now, I'm not perfect. Some days I might have a bad day. I might say some bad words, but like DeMarcus said too, if a kid's watching me and he looks up to me and he sees me go off on a person, snap on the person, he might think that's cool. So my ultimate goal every day is to influence somebody positively. I go to work, I try to smile, I try to speak. And Kerry, I used to work with you. I'm not a morning person, so I try my best to speak to people.
You're really not a morning person. That's real talk.
But you never know what a smile will do for a person, or what saying hi will do for a person. So my influence now is to try to influence people towards God, towards positivity.
Absolutely. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
When we're talking about what y'all saying with the influence, I just want to kind of close with this. I guess when we talk about this, is that we're taking it on a positive thing, on a positive light, because we want this to be a law of light. But then also you got to know that people will always look at the human side of you, which is the mistakes and the things that you don't do right. And when you really do have a strong influence, some people will hold on to the negative parts of you and try to take your influence and dim that. You know what I'm saying? And we talk, like Jarrell said something that was profound. We talking about, trying to influence people by showing them God, like through us. Like to me, that's the highest level of influence. But then you have the devil that wants to take that influence away from you, by defamation, breaking down your character. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make mistakes as men and women. Like we're gonna make mistakes in public. Like we will make mistakes, but you got to understand that the more powerful influence comes from the overcoming of those mistakes in front of people. So don't be afraid to make a mistake and say sorry for it. You know what I'm saying? Repenting for our sins as us believers believe, and just being a real person at all times. Like, because you'll never be that person that some people may put you up there. Like, Khalil, I'm glad I was able to make an impact on you, but even the students that I make an impact on, some of them don't see my private struggles, and I want them to know, even though I try to portray myself in a certain way, I do deal with stuff. And when I deal with it, if you see me deal with it, I don't want you to think I'm not human. Like, I'm still human. I'm just a human doing my best. And that's what we all are. We humans doing our best. And that's how we always going to do it. So that's the law of influence, breaking that down. And I think we can kind of pivot a little bit now into the law of, self-preservation, or in other words, don't be dumb. So we can let Mr. Golden go ahead and expound on that one, because he loves to talk to y'all about that.
Man, it's really the most important thing out there, right? We didn't talk about self-preservation before, but truly, don't be dumb, man. It's okay to be ignorant. I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna take the nice road today. I'm never talking about people's ignorance. It's cool to be ignorant. If you don't know, we trying to teach.
Yeah.
When you know and you choose wrong, that's dumb though. When you know that you've seen someone either do these things and it hasn't worked out, you know that it can be way worse repercussions than it is positive outcome. Anything. That's dumb to me, right? I'm not gonna, of course, talk about my student too much, but I'm teaching now. And it's some things that kind of bother me with how kids move, right? I'm in here trying to really make this as easy as I can for these kids, right? If you choose to ignore the help that I'm giving you, that's dumb. That to me is like where I don't get it. And that's why I'm so adamant about stuff like this. If you don't know, can't nobody fault you for that. But to actually self-persevere or whatever, self-preserve, you have to do everything you can to make your life as easy as possible. That's why we learn things. That's why we have systems, all of that, right? So when I say don't be dumb, I mean, don't make things harder than they got to be. Don't put yourself in dangerous situations. Don't put yourself in situations where your outcome is really not going to be in your favor. That's how you make your life the easiest you can for yourself. So it's learning these different things. It's actually taking influence from positive places, not from negative places. It's self-reflecting. It's really, I always go back to what JT said, is learn from other people, man. Take the free lessons, right? That's what I mean when I say don't be dumb. So, I know some people struggle with that, but that's why we out here spreading the light.
Yeah. I want to piggyback because Nate's correct. And I like how he says it. He ruthless, but he correct. All it takes is one time, one bad decision to change your whole life or even end your life. I mean, I know people with no records, have nothing on their record, and they drink and drive, and they have a wreck and they kill somebody, and now they looked at as a murder. You know what I'm saying? That's a good human being, didn't do anything wrong to anybody, but his one decision changed his whole life. I mean, Henry Ruggs. Let's talk about him. How Nick Saban said he never was in trouble. He never missed class. One decision, having fun. He knows that drinking and driving is probably not the right thing to do. He does it accidentally. Has an accident, kills somebody, now he's in jail. Instead of playing football, making millions. One decision in your life can change everything. So if you know it's not a good decision, try your best not to do it. Like Kerry just said, I'm not perfect. I've had a couple of drinks and I drove home before. I won't say I haven't. I know probably a lot of people that probably done it. DeMarcus, you probably have too.
Hey, man.
I don't know. Hey. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm older now, and I know if I'm going to a certain place, I can get a hotel close to where I'm going if I know I'm gonna be drinking. Kind of like my birthday. People came to my birthday. Y'all know how we did it. We're in walking distance. Yep. So just try to be as smart as you can, because one decision can change everything or even kill you, so, or somebody else.
Let me say this too. That's why I don't believe in mistakes. I truly do not accept when people say they made a mistake. Mistakes to me are for math problems and when you're measuring stuff out. I miscalculated. Something was little. I'm for real though.
Hey, what are you talking about right now, man?
Because
let him continue. He's trying to make a point.
Like what Jarrell brought up with,
I was with you the whole time.
With Henry Ruggs. You can't tell me it's a mistake when other people have done it and you know what the outcome are. That's why I don't accept mistake in these situations, bro. You cannot tell me I'm a functioning human. I have a brain. I know right from wrong. I know that if I go and drink and drive, the chances are I'm gonna get pulled over and I'm still getting hit with that ticket and I'm going to sit for the night because I was drinking and driving. Bigger chance is I'm really wasted and I'm gonna go 140, whatever he was going, and run through the back of somebody and everybody finna possibly die. That's stupid. that's not making a mistake, that's making a choice. There's a huge difference between those two. And I think that's where we need more, honestly, just people being held accountable in the world. Don't give them, it's a mistake, man. Mistake is innocent. A mistake is, man, I thought I needed a half a cup. I used the whole cup. That's cool. When you choose things and you know it has a negative outcome, live with that, bro. Okay. You got to live with it.
And that's why I put those two definitions up. I don't know if everybody's seen them, because I knew Nate was probably going to go here. I got off the end. I can't cite it just right now, even though I paraphrase it. Dumb is temporarily unable or unwilling to. So it's temporarily unable, unwilling to make an action, unable to speak, unable to make a decision. Whereas ignorance is lacking the knowledge of or awareness. You can't say that, kind of like what he was saying about a mistake. Like, you can't say that I had a mistake if I already had knowledge of that. You should have made the right decision because you had knowledge of that. Just like if you were trying to find the answer to a math problem, if you already know how to have knowledge how to get to the answer, then it wasn't a mistake.
I'd say
I'm bad at math. That's why I give them a pass on that.
Yeah, but in a real life sense, like, there's a difference between, and I know Nate is real harsh, but I understand why. There's a difference between being dumb or stupid or whatever, but there's a difference between being dumb and being ignorant. Mm-hmm. Ignorant, you literally had no knowledge of.
Yeah.
Ignorance, I'm okay with, man.
Yeah, if you're being dumb, then you should have learned from the previous time when you actually got taught the knowledge, whether it was by somebody else's dumbness or just learning from their situation. Because like you said, like nobody that has a license can, okay, the majority of people that have a license can't say that they didn't know that drinking and driving was a bad thing. Now, when something happens, you get the hands on the head, you get the awareness of, and they know right away. They know right away. I used to tow for a living. I seen them at night. Like they could be completely plastered, but when the consequence happens, they know right away why. Mm-hmm. They weren't ignorant. They know right. I'm talking about people who have been passed out. Literally know right away why.
I try to, and I agree with you saying about accountability. I think that when we're talking about, don't be dumb and self-preservation, it is easier to preserve yourself in this world when you are accountable and when you own and take ownership of what you do, right? All of your actions have to be owned by you. And I would agree with you 100% on that, Nate. Like, you have to own your actions. Like, and I think a lot of what happens when we kind of pass things off as, oh, they just made a mistake. Sometimes it's like we're passing off the ownership, like it's on other factors. We have to get away from that. We have to, promote that in our own lives, and then also, encourage that within one another. I think that, when you think about like the gap, like in regards to where you want to go in life, man, like it's really what the gap between where you are right now and where you want to go is what you don't know. So anything you don't know, it's like you live in that ignorance is bliss. If you are truly ignorant to something, you don't like that saying, huh?
I hate that saying.
If you truly ignorant, though, you just don't know. You're like a child, right? Children just don't know. They bump their head. They didn't know. It's like, well, he didn't know. He hasn't seen it before, right? Mm-hmm. But then the flip side of it is where and then you make a decision. You try to balance it on probability. So I'm gonna say that when some people do that, i.e., your last minute paper turning person, your last minute project person, your procrastinators, they may make a mistake here and they end up having to pay for it. Now, I do believe in mistakes. That's why I say it's hard for me to say I don't believe in mistakes, because I think that people do make hiccups. I do think that there are little things that you might not have calculated in a situation, but even though, you have to own that, because when you go into a space where the margin for error is like this small, like if and you choose to, take the chance and get behind that wheel, or you choose to do this, or you choose to do that, like, okay, look, you grown. If you grown and you do what you think is best in that situation, but do not come to nobody and start crying and start whining about life's not fair, everything's against me, somebody made a voodoo doll of me. Nah, you did this. You did this and own it. And that's why I think that I agree with you. And that's how I would say what you're saying is that the extreme ownership is where we need to take a focus to in regards to self-preservation. You need to own your actions. Like you got to own.
What kind of things do you
I think y'all
consider
saying the same
mistakes
thing.
here?
I think we
I think y'all saying the same thing.
Yeah, I can add to that. So yesterday I read a Bible verse. It said, I think it was in Matthew 12, 20, 25. It said, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. So basically, to me, that meant like, once you do, like, if you know something is wrong and you still do it, you causing yourself more grief. Like, to piggyback off what y'all said, like, you can't get mad when you cause yourself some hurt, even though you know it's wrong, because you decided to make that decision. Like, if you go and shoot somebody, then you get 25 years to life. You knew it was wrong, so you can't be in that time, free me, I'm in here hurting, nobody want to see me, no commissary. Like, you can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that type of stuff, because then it's like you made the type of decision. Now you feeling sorry for yourself, even though like you probably got paid to do it or whatever. You like something in your head gonna probably tell you before you make a bad decision. This not right. It's always a voice in your head that's gonna tell you something good. Like I don't know if we should do this, even if it's not like don't do this. It's like an unsure voice. Like I don't know if this the best idea right now in this moment. So that's what. Just to piggyback off what y'all said, that's what I think it means.
100.
Facts, bro. Thank you.
That's real.
Facts.
Because DeMarcus used to always say about like people who cheat, men, women, whatever. You can't say it's a mistake because before you do it, you always have that thought. Yeah, that's
always a blip.
It's a blip of this ain't my wife.
It might be just a blip.
It might be a blip.
But it's always a blip.
He used to always be like, man, when dudes be like, oh, that's a mistake. Or a woman be like, DeMarcus used to always say, nah, bro, you thought, even if it was for 0.5 second, you thought like, nah, this ain't even right. But
you thought about doing it in the first place. It didn't just happen. You didn't open your eyes and end up like, oh my God, it's right here. Oh wow. Bro, you went through a process to get there, bro. It's not a mistake. It's a choice. It's a pattern, it's a pack of actions.
That's real. Yeah.
Well, folks, if y'all need grace, man, y'all come holler at me because these brothers got no breaks. Y'all ain't getting no breaks, bro. I hope he's not getting
look,
no breaks.
if you mess up a
Khalil, like
I'm on your side. If you do something simple that you can screw up,
Khalil brought it back to the good book. He's like, hey, for y'all who don't know.
Good book. I like that though. We need that. But you know what I'm saying? You know, kind of pivoting, you know, to the last law we're gonna cover, man. We got the law of presence. You know, MrliftN'Go himself likes this one a lot. He got a little quote he's gonna share with y'all for the law of presence, and then we'll kind of expand on that there. You know what the quote is, bro? Why you always do this, bro? You finna get like, bro. We gotta vote. We gotta vote on this, bro. Like, we can't keep doing this week after week, bro. Do this every week.
I told you not to invite him back on a long time ago.
He's looking so surprised, like he has no idea what about your feet, DeMarcus? What about your feet, bro?
My quote, that's Nate's quote. Nate, what's the quote?
See where your feet at, man.
See where your feet at.
I think I deserve an apology because I take accountability for all my actions, and that wasn't my action.
Bro, you made half the list. All right, bro. Yes.
You made the whole list.
The whole list.
The whole list, bro. But nah, man, I would say, you know, that's something that I'm really working on right now is being where my feet are, because I think we talking about people that we are, you know, walking lights. You know, we cultivating our light every day, trying to become better men. You know, people sense that, and people tend to put responsibilities and expectations on you. And I think sometimes that can lead to you multitasking. And when you multitask and when you spread your attention, I think sometimes it could lead you away from being present enough to have your feet and you at the same place, because you got your mind over here on this and on this and on this and on this. But when you do that, you're less effective at the current spot where you are. And I know I've been victim of that before because, you know, you just sometimes you think being busy is the best thing, but sometimes being busy is not being productive. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be just doing things and just be handling tasks, but the tasks aren't taking you towards your goal, said goal that you had beforehand. You know, I think it's constant reminders that we have to give ourselves. Like Jarrell kind of got me, you know, consistent with my goals on my board. Like I put them on my mirror now, just so that like I could keep myself aligned in the morning. Like when I wake up to set my intentions and be able to say like, you know, this is why I'm here today. Like even though there's like a million things everybody want from me, I woke up today to do these things. And when I'm doing things for other people, or I'm handling my daily tasks, or I'm, you know, meditating or I'm working out, there's a reason why I'm currently where I'm at. And I have to make sure that's also feeding my bottom line, which are my goals. And, you know, the reasons that get me my why, the reasons that move me, you know what I'm saying, move my spirit. So, I mean, we could speak to that, you know, the law of presence, you know what I'm saying, just being with your kids, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of us as fathers on this podcast, you know, when you with your babies, like being there with your baby and actually helping your baby with their homework, you know what I'm saying, hugging your kid, or when you were with your mama, with your lady, like being there present at that time, just really soaking in that experience and not just being there as a body, because they don't just want us there as a body, they want us there totally, you know, that we can't keep doing that. We gotta be totally present. So y'all add to that, man, the law of presence, which I got on that.
I have a
there to be a role, bro. Go ahead, DeMar.
Mine's short. I had a deacon today that we were talking about life. He's 80 years old. I swear nobody will believe he's 80. Like he still works. Well, not really work. He still works out. He still moves. Like you might put him at 60 something. But he said something. I've also heard, I believe Denzel said this at a speech too. And he said basically what Kerry was talking about, like, don't confuse movement with progress. Some of us are busy and we're moving. It's not progress. And also understanding that time is very precious. Some of us, you know, we spend a lot of our time, especially men, spend a lot of time trying to get and obtain a lot of stuff, when some of the true gems in life are the people that we have. So just to back to what Kerry was talking about, like there's a lot of truth to that.
I was just gonna say, every place that you are, everything that you're doing, you're a specific role at that point in time, right? So when we really talk about being where your feet are, it's being in the role and the purpose that you're supposed to be in. Like what Kerry was saying, like you might be a father, you being a husband, whatever it is that you're doing. We're educators, we're working in the mental health field. Be where you are and be what you're supposed to be in that moment is really what that means to me, right? Because you have to play your role to get the best out of whatever it is, to give your best as well. So if you at work, bro, go do whatever it is. If you out there flipping burgers, be the best burger flipper until you move to doing the register, whatever it is. Like you have to do that in order to grow through it. You can't just kind of half-heartedly do things.
I like that. And I'm a piggyback because at work, I tell the people that work under me, you know, my team, I tell them to put on their work hats, put on their mom hats, put on their whatever hats. So kind of like Nate said, because we work in mental health, if you take in everything you take in and you go home with all that on your heart, you won't be effective for your family. So I always tell my people, you know, that work with me, take off that mental health caseworker, counselor hat, put on your parent hat when you get home, because you don't want to go home with all that depression and anxiety you heard all day. You want to take that off. When you get home, you want to give your kids all that they need. So like Nate said, man, wherever your feet are, wherever you are, be the best, whatever that is, coach, teacher, parent, mental health worker, young man, you know, how old are you?
18.
I'm
exactly. Be the best 18-year-old you can be. So so that's real, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I really ain't just thought about that topic though, but from what y'all saying, it make a lot of sense, because like if let's say I'm at the park with my friend or something, I'm worrying about my college work or these people at work or this anything, what I'm gonna do when I'm get older, and me and my friend having a conversation, I'm just answering it like aimlessly, like, not even really trying to grasp. I'm not really there. Like Mr. Sloan said, I'm not really there in the conversation. I'm just there as a body, just like, oh yeah. But like, you know what I'm saying? I'm responding because I know what she's saying, but I'm not understanding what she's saying. I know because like A plus B equals C. Like that's how I know what she's saying, but I'm not really taking it into my heart. I'm just answering while I'm thinking about all these other things. And now it's kind of like, it kind of causes like, I feel like that'll cause like some type of miscommunication between people if I'm not where I'm supposed to be and this person right here and I'm all the way in Neptune and they on Earth, then that causes like miscommunication between us. So I feel like that's important what y'all just said.
Absolutely. And I want to add to what you're saying, even that same example, man. You know, a lot of relationships tend to falter because of just that. You know, that's something that you're going to see as you grow older, is just the difference in, you know, even men and women, like when we come together and just you'll see so many men that struggle with active listening, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to listening to the female counterpart, you know, it's just like, because they'll give you a lot, you know, sometimes they'll give you a lot of information, but if you're not actively listening to what they're saying, sometimes you'll miss out on those gems because they think a little differently than us. So they express themselves differently, but you have to really hone in and try to listen, like watch their lips move. Like, you know, when they give you a question, like, you know, you try to answer it based on what they already said and using that information and using your background knowledge and all that, and not just, you know, trying to get them to shut up. You know, sometimes some people do that because it's too much for them. But being an active listener is a skill that, you know, not only in relationships, but in your professional life, it makes you more adequate, makes you more effective. Like, and that's being present. Like, being present is really, like, bro, sometimes when I talk to people, especially at work, I take the time to like pause. Like, bro, I be like under a lot of stress sometimes, and I'll be like, it'll be tense, bro. It like sometimes you just be like, it's a lot. But sometimes when people come talk to me, I will literally check out of the whole day. Like, I'll literally check out mentally and go into this conversation. Like, I'll stop. It'll be a million things going on. I just stop. I just listen. I'll be like, oh, that's good. I'll be like, man, how everything going with that? Boom, boom, boom. And what I found is that's kind of helped my mental health, because it helps me understand that I'm still a human. I'm not like a machine. Like, I'm not just cash. Like, I'm present. I'm listening. I'm learning from others. I'm adding to your life. Because some people, they're surprised when you do that. Like, when you check out and like actually listen to somebody, when you talk to them in the middle of your day, they'll be actually surprised when you ask them how are they doing and you wait for the response. You know what I'm saying? You sit there, you wait to actually hear how they doing. Because a lot of people say, hey, how you doing? Keep it walking. You know what I'm saying? They just keep, you know what I'm saying? That's like all day long. You see, hey, how you doing? Like, you don't want to know how I'm doing. You already down the street.
They don't even hear the answer. They keep moving. Actually, I'm not doing.
So, it's like, you know, taking that time to really, you know, talk to individuals and connect. What?
Don't read that.
What does it say? What does it say?
I gotta let me check.
I was just, that's what I was going to say before Khalil started, to kind of add to the conversation. I didn't want to lose it, and I accidentally pushed enter. I wasn't trying to push enter, but it was, I was saying that your eyes work together. They can only focus on one thing. Truly, they can focus on one thing. You have peripheral, and it could be busy in the room or busy whatever you're looking at. But when you focus on one thing, it goes back to being where your feet at. Like, when you focus on where you're at and what you're doing at that point, you have extreme focus on there. That's kind of like what Kerry was talking about in the hearing sense. Like, when you're focused on that, like all your energy, all your time, all of your action and efforts go to that one thing.
Yeah, I've heard also, that's good. I like that a lot. I also heard that you can't hold two thoughts at one time. That's what I've also heard. So I heard it's impossible to hold two thoughts at one time. You can only hold one thought. And like, when you looking at that one thing, or you really focusing on that one thing, then that's like, you know, when people talk about metaphysics and taking what's in your mind and bringing it out to reality, like, that's how you do it. That's how the computer was created. That's how the phone was created. Like, an individual or a group of individuals came together with focused energy over an amount of time, and they put all their energy and time into creating. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Like, we talking about these laws of light. We're creating this our intentions. Like we've intended to do these things from the jump, from the inception. Like all this stuff is aligned with who we are as people. It's like we focused on our inner beings, and that's what's bringing out what you guys see today. So, man, I think this is a magnificent build. What y'all think?
Yeah, and even if you have a slow eye, I have a slow eye. You can still focus on things.
You got a floater? Look at it. Look, do it again.
Yeah.
How you be feeling, bro? You grew up with this dude, man. That's your big brother.
I mean, I guess nothing surprises me. Let's go with that.
Nothing surprises you. Nothing surprises anybody on the podcast, man. Anything can happen because we building lights out here. So, man, make sure y'all like and subscribe. What y'all got for the people, man? In closing.
Oh,
Texas is not back.
Bear down, baby.
Bears just are down. They're a down franchise.
We won today. H-Town, what they do? L.
They lost because they suck too.
Hey.
I'm not wearing the Texans shirt, bro.
Hey,
this is what it is.
I feel you. Khalil, you did good today, man.
I appreciate it, but on a serious note, though, I got something to say for the people because this is something I struggled at.
The quarterback has entered the huddle.
don't hold like high expectation for people. Like accept people to do evil and understand that people gonna do evil. Like you gotta really know that. Like you can't just because you being a light, you can't expect the whole world to be like. Some people gonna be evil and dark. This because that's how their heart is. And you just gotta be okay with that. You can't get mad at yourself and be like, wow, why am I doing good and they doing bad? It's not fair. No, you gotta just say, okay, and just go about your day and just brush it off. Like they just another person. That's all you got. How you gotta look at them, unless they'll affect you and you'll be. Because if you start to react off of them being dark, that's kind of like you becoming their puppet because you up here and they down here now, and you reacting because they vibing low. So now you becoming a puppet of them. So you got to really just understand that you can't hold high expectations for everybody and expect everybody to move how you moving or how to love in their heart like you got.
It's reality right there. That's being real.
Yes, Lord.
Being real. And when
Lord.
when they come around you with that energy, what it always says, man, you know, I always heard the OGs tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody telling you stuff about me, then why do they feel so comfortable saying it to you? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's like, you know, if somebody being negative around me, why they feel so negative being negative around me? What is it about me that's bringing that in? What is it about me that makes you feel like this is home to bring all your trash? Because I want you to feel real uncomfortable bringing that to me. This light over here too bright for you to be bringing all that dead energy. You can't bring that over here. It can't survive here. So you got to go take that elsewhere. So I like that you already getting there, young king. You gonna get there, man. It's gonna be. We all getting there. But anybody else? Y'all got anything for the people?
You did.
Rihanna's performing at the Super Bowl.
Who?
Rihanna is performing at the Super Bowl.
Yes, we're watching the Super Bowl.
Guess what?
Be light.